So for those of you in the back, if you just want to bring it in, we can talk about a few things here. Quick show of hands. How many people have heard the term core users or job site research today in any of your breakouts? Yeah, you'll hear it a lot. We put it into everything that we do here, and these shears are a great example. So what you're looking at behind me, these three shears, we actually have the industry's most innovative and the largest line of cordless shears. Before we talk about a couple of really cool things about these tools, I just want to talk about the three products that we have here. So you have the most common shear that you'll see, this 18 gauge double cut shear, doing sheet metal ductwork. You'll have this 18 gauge single cut shear for doing roundouts, radius cutting. And one thing that's really unique about this line, this third shear here, is something that hasn't been seen in the industry in cordless offering yet, this boom-headed shear. It's a 14 gauge shear. And what this is for is when you're doing your ductwork outside, so your air handler's up on the roof. One thing that's interesting about the roof is there's not a lot of power outlets out there. And so it kind of surprised us that there wasn't a cordless shear for 14 gauge steel already out in the market. But we'll be the only ones to offer this tool to our users. So let's talk about a couple things on these shears that really make them stand out from the competition. So first thing you'll notice is these do have this kind of very different and unique look to them. There's a really easy way to make a shear. You take two handle halves of a drill, all the drill components, you throw a shear head on the end of it, and there's your shear. That's the quickest and fastest way to do it. There's a reason ours looks a little different. And I'll show you using this tool here. So when you have these two tools side by side, we'll talk about that in a second. When I'm lining up my cut, you'll see on the competitor shear that my hand's a lot higher above the cutting surface. And what this means is when I go to make a cut with one hand and I push on this, instead of pushing forward through the cut, I'm pushing the tool down, which isn't helping me make any forward progress. So now I got to take my second hand here, and the reason this tool is so long, to guide the shear head through this cut. So from our research, we have this ergonomic design that puts my hand directly in line with the cutting head, and it leaves me one free hand to hold the material. Because although here, while I'm talking to you guys, we've got this clamp down, you'll almost never see this on the job site where we have sheet metal clamped. You guys need to hold it to be able to make the cut. So let's see what that looks like. Pretty easy when I can do that with one hand. So having one hand free is great. Let's talk about the bonus of having two hands free. Specifically when I'm climbing up a ladder. I don't cut the metal with it hanging from my pocket, but if I'm making a cut overhead, so if I'm not treating this in a shop or getting it ready for installation, I'm going to need to be making a cut overhead. And just something as simple as a belt hook helps me get quickly and safely up the ladder to the cut that I need to make. Now, once I'm up there, this actually worked out nicely. We've all seen this thing before. I promise I didn't stage that, but Allen keys traditionally don't stay with the tools very long. What you need this for is when you're doing work on duct, a lot of times when it's being put in overhead, it's one of the last things to go in. So that means you're having to get around a lot of other things that have already been installed in the ceiling. And so that means tight spaces. And what you can do is actually rotate this head to get it into a tighter spot. So to do that, you need this Allen key, you loosen these three screws, turn the head, tighten them all back down, make your cut, which may only be one or two cuts you need to do. You got to repeat that process to get this set back to the way it was. With these shears, we have the industry's only tool-free 360-degree rotating head. So what that means is when I'm at the top of the ladder and in a pinch, I simply pull this down, and I got full 360-degree rotation to get me the optimal configuration for the cut that I'm trying to make. Those are a couple things that make this tool great. We'll have time to get our hands on this once we finish up with the last two tools in this breakout. All three tools that you see in front of you will be available this fourth quarter of this year. So with that, I'm going to toss it back to Mike.